Hey guys, and welcome to this week's video. Now this week I want to talk about the stigma surrounding mental health. Now there is a lot of stigma surrounding mental health. Up until maybe this past year, it's been a very taboo topic. Anybody who suffered from it was ashamed to admit they had it. Nobody talked about it. It wasn't taught in schools. It was very something you hid about yourself if you suffered from it. And it's slowly becoming okay to say that you have mental health issues. But it's still got a lot of stigma surrounding it, and it's got a long way to go. When you suffer from a mental illness, you will face people who will make offhanded comments, just make judgments, because they don't really understand what it means to suffer from a mental illness. Unless you have someone close to you go through it, or yourself suffer from a mental illness, you'll never fully understand the toll it takes on a person, or how much it really imprisons you and takes hold of your life. So people who don't suffer or haven't known anyone that suffers don't really understand it, and they can make offhanded comments. They can hurt. They can really hurt. Now, the longer you suffer with mental illness, the longer you learn to deal with the comments. At the beginning, they sort of get to you because it's the first time you're hearing this. It's the first time you're really suffering from the stigma. It's the first time you're realizing that it doesn't just affect young people. I've had stigma about my mental health of doctors, of teachers. You know, they make comments just because they don't fully grasp it. And at first they really, really hurt. But then you learn to not let it bother you and just get used to it. And that is something that shouldn't happen. You shouldn't have to get used to people slagging off your condition. But unfortunately, with the stigma, that is what it's like right now. But they can still get to you. Years on, going through this, I have had comments either said right to my face or online, and I've gotten very good at rising above it and ignoring it. But sometimes when someone makes a comment, when it hits right in time with your mental illness, they can break you. And that is what happened to me this week. My depression was really bad this week. I was feeling incredibly low and just felt like I was hanging on by a thread. And a group of people had decided to make some accounts on YouTube and write nasty comments about mental illnesses and pretty offensive comments, and put them on all the videos on this account. And I tried to rise above it, but when it hit with the depression, it just kind of broke me, and I was a mess. And I cried, I felt broken, I felt really hatred towards the world, because I hated that it was still happening today. And it made me want to sort of hide away and not post another video and just let them win. But after I calmed down and, you know, I really thought about it, I decided that I wasn't going to not post videos anymore. I wasn't going to hide away. I wasn't going to, you know, let them win, because just because they don't understand what it means to have a mental illness and to deal with it, that doesn't mean people who do should be ashamed of it. You're not ashamed of a broken leg. You're not ashamed of cancer. You're not ashamed of diabetes. You're not ashamed of whatever physical illness. So why the hell should you be ashamed of a mental illness when it is not your fault? So I sort of built myself back up. I talked to a few friends that sort of were just like giving me a bit of strength and a bit of power to sort of be like, don't let them win. And I reported their accounts, they're gone, and I feel better. But it's okay if every now and then you get a bit broken about the judgment and the stigma, because it does suck. Because not only are you having to deal and fight every day with your mental illness and your mental health problems, it hurts when you have to then fight other people's judgments and defend your illness, because you shouldn't have to. It's not your fault. You didn't pick to have this. You don't wish to have this. You are trying every day to beat it, but just because people don't necessarily understand it, they make judgments, and those judgments can hurt. But it's okay to get annoyed and angry and upset every now and again when those judgments hit a bit close to home. But although the stigma has gotten a lot better over this past year or so, I mean, a lot of people are more coming out and saying they have mental health issues and that it's okay to have them. There's still a long way to go, but don't let them win. The people who don't understand, that's their problem, not yours. You've done nothing wrong, and you shouldn't feel ashamed for having an illness. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you next week. Bye guys.